the whole community is starting to get good and fed up about what?
Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. It's I think
Tell me more.
The fact that they're not hiding their money-grubbing attitude now, the fact that they're forcing you to use ships that make no sense in a lineup on a fleet battle to try and get a capital ship for Amilyn Haldo, the purple hair. The fact that you have to use ships that make no sense in a lineup whatsoever to get that ship, just because they did the research and found out that those are the ships that they know that the majority of people have not 7-starred yet, so they're now requiring all of those. It's a complete hodgepodge of ships to go get the Radis, unless you want to buy it outright with crystals, or you want to buy.
You don't like radishes?
Radishes? No. Particularly not when they're purple. I don't think that's a natural color for them.
Ooh.
So.
Well, red onions are kind of.
I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like to go against science, so
Science.
So you said the community is not happy.
They're speaking about it quite a bit.
Excuse me.
We gotta get a mute button for that.
Sorry.
Lapel mic.
Nothing I can do. I thought about putting it right here. Why is it not?
Holy cow!
I think that's the problem with anything that you put not only your faith in, but when you put your faith and your money into it, you'll defend its stupidity to the dying breath.
Yeah. Are you glad that you don't spend money on the game anymore?
Always been glad that that's the case. Yeah, there's been some expenditures here and there that I can get over, over the 3 years now that I've been playing the game, but it's definitely just more of an entertaining thing for me now, just to be able to kind of bounce in and out, not be fully devoted to it anymore.
Are you not entertained anymore?
I'm only slightly entertained anymore, and the game's showing it. And unfortunately, my guild's suffering for it too, because I'm not participating as well as I used to. And the 2 accounts that I have in there do a lot of good for them.
Do you feel like you're a slave to the Coliseum at this point?
No, I'm a slave to the daily grind. If it's a game that I can play at my leisure, like when I buy an Xbox game or a console game or whatever, you can go back and forth to it, especially if you don't get into the whole online part of it. If you play the missions till the end of the game, you can enjoy it, you can bounce in and out when you want to. Like me, you can make Fallout 4 last for going on 4 or 5 years now. So.
Some games are like that. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, but when it's like you either spend money to get good or you get subpar good because you grind your butt off day in and day out for hours at a time to make it happen for free, you suddenly become a slave to the game.
I think that's kind of an interesting point you make. Actually, it's a super interesting point you make. That I don't think a lot of people talk about. I think a lot of people go, "Oh, you don't have to spend money. You could just be free to play and have fun."
Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely, you can.
Playing from California?
Absolutely. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you can totally, man.
I know. I don't know why I went there.
Burnout School of Berkeley.
But no. Think about it. They're right. You could. You don't have to spend any money at all. You can play.
This is absolutely true.
But there is a lot in this game now as a free-to-play that you're not going to. So I had a free-to-play account, and I was able to successfully over 1 year take 2 characters, up to Relic 7, and then I lost all of the materials that it took to take anyone past Relic 5. Taking characters up to Relic 5 was difficult but doable. Past Relic 5, nearly impossible for free-to-play, and for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, that is.
Battles.
Yeah, and so, without spending money. And so people can say, oh, well, you don't have to spend money, you can still have fun, just do things at your own pace. So what if I'm not going to go for that character, I guess that's my problem, is they write things off, and they say, well, who cares, write it off. What kind of crap is that? Where you're playing a game where you have to write
off main characters.
You have to write off things in the game and just be okay with that. And be like you don't buy Fallout 4 and then just go, well, I'm just not going to do those missions in the northwest corner of the map because I don't have money, so I'm not gonna do those missions.
My beliefs don't align with the Brotherhood, so I'm just going to go ahead and nix all those missions altogether.
Well, the Brotherhood's not even available to you, even though it's the best armor in the game. I'm not going to be able to do the Brotherhood because I don't have the $3,000 that it takes to unlock the Brotherhood armor.
The only excuses you can really give a game are graphic involved. Like, well, it's perfect except I can't go and do this. I can't open this door to this place over here because it's not part of the actual game. Like, those are the only real disappointments that I can kind of go, all right. And the glitches can be fun. I can really appreciate glitches, but when it comes to spending money or needing to have this many things in order to do this kind of thing, you lose me there every time. Just because I don't want to have
You don't play mobile games ever.
No, I don't.
Never have. You're a truist.
Well, for the most part, I don't really play video games too much, but I have a few in my pocket that I like to.
I'm just disillusioned. I loved mobile games. I loved them for a long time, and Star Wars will always have a special place in my heart. Star Wars Galaxy Heroes will always have a special place in my heart because, I've been playing. I played that game for 4 years, and I wanted it so bad to succeed. But now it's like.
We're realizing that we fell in love with obviously the Star Wars universe and the characters and what the game was about, not the game itself.
Well, in my main account, it's like, on your main account, you're going to spend, $1,000 a month minimum. So that's like $12,000 a year minimum to maintain your whale Kraken status. I didn't want to. Whoops. Hold on. OBS is acting funky.
It was gone for a second. Now it's back again.
Funky like a chicken. Now it's loose.
There it is. I don't know what was going on with OBS.
Is incredibly loose.
5 and 7. So I would just buy it, and I would get all those characters easily to Relic 5 and 7. The problem with that is that it would cost me $1,000 this month to do that, all easily to do, right? So you just spend $1,000 and you do it.
Hey.
Money makes it easy, right? Well, you don't want to do that anymore, so people say, well, just go free to play. It's more fun. It's less stressful. Just enjoy yourself.
In a sense, it's more satisfying because you earned it. You didn't just buy it.
Exactly.
There is a little bit of that, and that's why I think they hook you, because then suddenly it's not about spending money anymore, it's about spending time.
Exactly.
You are required to spend 4 hours a day to stay somewhat competitive as a free-to-play player, but there's still paywalls that you can't get past because you simply just aren't putting in the money. You can't get it fast enough to actually be viable when the event comes out.
Exactly. So let's put Warrior on the shelf, because that's what I did a year ago. I basically put that account on the shelf and put it on cruise control. I did it obligatorily, kept it on cruise control, because, hey, if I'm going to log into Star Wars Galaxy Heroes every single day, what am I going to do? I'm going to play my free-to-play account and let Warrior rot? Of course not. I'm going to log in daily and at least get my dailies and get my crystals.
You're going to maintain, and you're going to enjoy yourself.
So I maintained my Warrior account, although I was maintaining it to maintain it, not to play and enjoy it, and I didn't enjoy it. Plus, I was competing against the top 100 Krakens in the world. I was literally against the top 100 people in the world. And, at the very, 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 very tip of the spear, the top 100 players in the world, the very top 100 players that I was in, varied in spending from a player who spent almost $1 million to a player who spent about $30,000.
Yeah.
So that spear looks really different at the very high end. You may have someone who spent like $35,000 lifetime to get to that very tip, and then he's a Kraken, but you've also got somebody in that same spear of the top 100 who literally has like $1 million invested in the game. So that's a wide variant. So you got somebody who's has spent $500,000, and I haven't spent $500,000, and if it's not even close, that would be cool.
Right.
But
it'd be cool if I had that kind of money to waste.
Yeah, I spent like 20 times less than that. So you're talking about it's not even a competition, but guess what? They're in the top 100, so that's your only competition. So then I'm getting I have to compete against that, so it's no fun. So then you quit the only game mode that was enjoyable on that account, which was Grand Arena. So you quit that account. So there we go. We put Warrior on the shelf. So then we move over.
That should make it all better, right?
Right. So then we move over into free to play. That was started a year ago. So then I go into free to play, and I'm like, everyone says, just play free to play, just enjoy it, just have fun, just relax, just enjoy it. But then you do free to play, and I did it for a year, and it was fun. I did enjoy it, but I got a new perspective. And that new perspective was the free-to-play perspective, where there were some cool things about it, and I was able to access some things, and I was able to unlock things I didn't realize free-to-play was able to unlock, but I also realized there were some paywalls I didn't quite realize existed because I had just easily hurdled those in the past with money, and without that money, you literally can't ever get over them, no matter what anyone says. And so, because you literally run out of that material, and you can't get more material without buying it, and anyone that says otherwise they're lying. They'll say, oh, I did it, but it's like, no, you spent, or you're lying, because you literally run out of that material, and you don't have enough material for the characters that you're doing. You only can do so many characters before you just flat run out. So you get to that point. Hello, everyone, by the way. We're introductioning, just talking, bantering about Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. So we get to that point where I've been playing for a year now, and I got a new perspective, that free-to-play perspective, a really fun perspective, but I realized there were some forever paywalls, and I also realized there was this critical error that was built in after Mods 2.0. So my Warrior account was a mods 1.0 account. It was
Right.
an account that was prior to the mods change out. A lot of people don't know who's watching. A lot of people don't know about mods, pre-mods, post-mods thing, but the mods changed, and before the mods changed, I understood mods better than most. In fact, I have some of the best mod videos out there, and I've got one with like almost 500,000 views. And you could find a green mod with 5 speed, and guaranteed it'd be anywhere from 9 to 11 speed when you were done with it, minimum. And a lot of times it would hit another 1 or 2 times, and you get 15, 18 speed.
Bankable statistics.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so all you had to do is just go find those green mods and just buy the heck out of them. That's not the case anymore, because of the way that they built, that you have to discover all of your secondaries first and stuff, la la la. So
Better
mods
RNG
2.0.
Better
Yeah.
RNG system now in the House's favor as usual.
Yep. So unfortunately now they've crippled mods in a way that makes it much more difficult to get a good mod comparatively. Because of this, free-to-play individuals such as myself, after a year, I had one set after 1 year, one set of good speed, and it was 131. 131 speed. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. It
But
is.
but my main account, 167 was my best. So we're talking about the best versus the best. We're talking about 36 different speed. That's not even competitive. And that was one account or one character. Every other character I had was only like 105
Had all the
at
triple
best.
down.
Whereas all my main account, I had literally 40 characters that had 120 plus speed sets. 120 plus speed on 40 plus characters. So there's a crippled mod effect that you can never fix. Plus, there's paywalls that you can't ever access. And then it's like, then I got to that point where I'm like, it's for me as free to play, I'm not having fun because you're telling me,
You've reached the ceiling
as
already.
having fun and now being free to play, I can't invest time to get those things. You used to be money or time, but now they're
Now
saying,
it's so elitist that's
now
something
they're
that's not
saying
available to you
it's
even with
money or these things are not available. It's like these things are just never going to be available to
Well,
you.
and even
Sorry.
then, so many of those accounts are so far gone because they've been around so long that there's no way you're going to be able to catch up to them, even with $1 million, because they've already so far past that with grandfathered in good mods that you've already hit a wall that even came through.
And
can't
the
do it.
argument would be, who cares? You don't want to chase them. And I wouldn't want to chase them anyway. And they would say, don't worry about it. But that's the thing. It's not that I'm worried about it. It's that I want to play with those characters too. That's the whole freaking point.
Yeah.
You just spent 6 months building 2 amazing characters. You spent 6 months building 2 amazing characters. There is no new content. This is your content for the entire community. And now you're saying 95% of the community doesn't get to play with the content you spent 6 months building? Really? And we have to just be like, oh, it's okay, we don't have to play with it because
all right.
we're playing at our own pace. That's stupid. It's not a raid that everybody gets to play with, where there's different tiers where, free to play at tier 4 or 5, and, the Whaley Whales get to play at tier 7 and earn a character. No. It's just literally something we have to just accept and say, nope, we're not going to play it, and the game doesn't change for us. We just have to accept that there's stuff that's unavailable to us kind of indefinitely, and that we just have to write it off and accept that. This is like the first time that they've just overtly come to the point where they're just like, you know what? We're just going to put things out there that are literally, like the last year, GOTB, Darkside GOTB, Lightside GOTB, all of that is cracking content.
Yep.
My Warrior account
Royal
would,
pain in the butt.
my Warrior account would love that.
CG just basically went, okay, there's a giant line in the sand, and everybody on this side already, good for you. Everybody else, sorry, can't cross that line now.
Yeah, my Warrior account would love that, but I'm not going to give money to a company who's saying, you know what, if you want to play free to play, which I did also want to experience that, and I chose to experience that. If you want to play free to play,
Almost.
yeah, then we're just going to exclude you from the last year's worth of content we've built and indefinitely exclude you from that. And probably going forth, everything we build, we're going to exclude you from that.
Yeah.
And that you can just choose to purchase and spend money, or you can just forever struggle until you realize the struggle bus is going to be forever and you quit the game. And that's stupid. So,
well, and to add on to that, as being free to play, there's a slingshot effect now that I find there's been all the paywalls, but now there's like competition and Grand Arena Championship walls where I'll do stellar in certain areas. I'll hit above my weight. I'll just knock all these guys down left and right, and then suddenly I'll get into a new group of people that will just bounce me back 50 spaces behind where I just moved up to because I hit somebody so hard. The game redirects everything and suddenly match makes me with somebody else that makes no sense whatsoever, where it's just like, okay, that's not even a paywall, that's just somebody I can't even get past that. So there was a huge gap that I would find where it's like, once I finally get to the top of my tier, of my shard, of my pay scale, my free-to-play scale, or whatever, I would finally hit that wall, and it wouldn't just be
about Grand Arena?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where it would just be like, okay, I've reached the precipice, I've reached what I can get as a free-to-play. But not only just being able to stay there, it would bounce me back so far that I had to build back up to that every time. So it just became a big circular motion after a while where it's just like, okay, I'm not getting anywhere after this. It's just kind of silly.
And honestly, I don't even have a gripe about that because you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, and it can't be...
Oh, yeah, I'm saying it's interesting to find
matchmaking
not
can't
only
be
the pay
perfect.
wall, but there's also the ability wall, too, after a
Yeah.
while. After a certain point, there's just areas of this game that you will not be able to touch or get into because you have not spent money in the game.
Yeah, to me, it's just silly because they've spent the last year building Kraken food, and this is coming from a literal Kraken who quit the game because of it, because I got the perspective of free-to-play for a year, and after seeing the perspective of free-to-play for a year and realizing the restrictions on my free-to-play account versus the lack of restrictions on my main account, and seeing what I could buy versus what I couldn't get free-to-play, and what I was crippled in mod on my free-to-play account versus on my main account, and how I was like literally terminal on my free-to-play account, and it was like it was like hopeless. It was like I just had to accept that I was never going to access certain content on my free-to-play account, and I thought, that's silly. And people are like, oh, just play it for fun. Who cares if you can't do Darkside GOTB, or who cares if you can't get Kylo? Why is that acceptable to think like they just spent 6 months making a character
of the game and you'll be happy?
They spent 6 months making a character, and I just have to be okay with never having access to that character? That's so stupid. I just think that's stupid. I really do. There should be some sort of game plan to be able to access that character that's viable. And telling me that Relic 5 and 7 characters, like 13 of them, that's literally telling free-to-play, go fly a kite. That's literally telling free-to-play, go fly a kite. We're not going to help you. We're putting something up that's so discouraging that free-to-play... And this is the deal. Tons of new players have no idea what that means.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, when I get Relic 5 and 7, I'll do it, but I'm going to take my time and enjoy the game for what it is. Well, when you get up and realize how hard relics are, you'll quit the game because you realize the impossibility of what they're asking, or you'll start to spend money. One of the two.
And just about the time that a free-to-play will have enough time to finally get a full 5-character roster up to Relic 7, there'll be Relic 12 introduced. There'll be mods 3.0. There'll be enough new characters
new
that'll
mods
make
are
those
coming,
obsolete.
you guys. Unequivocally, this year, for a fact, mods 6D are coming into the game. Mods 6D are coming into the game. So just be prepared for that. That's not going to be very fun. So anyway, I totally preaching. Sorry, I did not mean to go off on that.
Oh, but hey, it's a great metaphor.
You started talking about how you enjoy the game, and I was like,
it's a great metaphor for life right now.
I miss it. I want to come back.
The real people and the 1%, how out of touch of reality, celebrities and extremely wealthy people are. Yeah, you don't realize until you could kind of get a different perspective and step in somebody else's shoes for a while, just how much it's just like, I never even realized.
Well, Cubs fan Han had a video, and he interviewed 3 whales, 3 Krakens. One spent 35 grand, one spent like 40, one spent like 50,000 in the game, and they all said like, hey, their perspective was they actually don't have a problem with what's going on. Do you know why?
Because they're already ahead of the curve.
Because they're spending money. Like this is built for those people. And like I said, if I was still enjoying the game spending, then I'd be fine. But I started a free-to-play account a year ago and realized the fruitlessness of free-to-play, but I also realized they didn't care about the spender. As someone who spends money, it's like, fix the broken parts of your game.
We paid you enough money you can afford to fix it.
If you don't get your shards from an event, send the shards out. Don't wait 2 months to say, oh, did you not get your shards? I'm sorry, it's too late now. Oh, we'll give you 100 crystals. It's like, really? Like, stop being so terrible in communication. Stop being so terrible with compensation. Stop saying you don't celebrate Christmas and not give Christmas gifts out, but then put out Christmas packs where you're asking for a bunch of money on terrible deals. I mean, it's just stupid.
It's like going to or having the access to a casino and having unlimited, being able to have funds to play whatever you want, but never winning.
Emperor Gubatine, you quit?
Never.
I didn't know you quit the game. I knew you were pay to play, my friend.
But you don't have to spend any money to play. In a sense, you're free to play. You can walk around that casino, play every single game. You're just never gonna win anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
No, I just enjoy games that you win based off of your ability and skill and being able to figure out the game, not based on how much money you've spent.
Oh, I don't care about that. You know what? I would spend money in this game, and I would even spend it happily if there was communication, if they would fix their broken game,
Oh, yeah, they should. They cared
and
for the
if they
community,
made things accessible on a tiered
Especially with
slap
online.
basis, where they said, this is the event, and if you're free to play, you get the bottom tier. If you're a dolphin, you get this middle tier. If you're a whale, you get this top tier. And if you're a kraken, you get this higher tier. And whatever your rewards are, tier up. And so you're going to progress faster based on how much you spend. And so if you want to progress the fastest, you spend the most money. And if you want to be free to play, you get the same dang thing. You just get it at a lower rate. So the event comes back, you get 5 shards. But if you're a Kraken, you get 50 shards. So you're going to get the guy faster. So you have a reason to spend because you get the character faster. But the free-to-play could still play that event and know that in like 10 months, he'll still have the character, or in 2 years, he could still earn the character, and that it's going to be a forever paywall that screws him. You know what I mean? Like, give him hope. Give the guy hope. You know what I mean? It's like he's crushing... They're crushing the rebellion. All right, let's get to some of these. Let's do this. I'm gonna hold on. Let's see. Let's do this. All right.
Okay, just throw away a couple cards now that we spent 25 minutes talking about.
I know Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. We'll bust out the cards pretty quick.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you sour? He's like, I don't play the game.
I'm just waking up now.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh man, I lost again.
Crunchy.
Nobody wants a scissor.
All right. So this question goes to SureShot.
Ooh. What do you got for me?
Would you rather be in shape but feel out of shape?
Ah.
I'm already there, man.
Or would you rather be out of shape but feel healthy? So basically, would you rather be healthy but feel overweight? Or be overweight but feel healthy?
This is an existential question here. You can either go purely superficial with it, or you can go with, my ultimate happiness over my entire period of life is what's
mental.
key and
It's
what's
not
cognitive.
physical.
So yes, ultimately, I'd rather look out of shape and feel good all the time, because your overall well-being is so much better than just looking good, because that would get so old after a while.
Radiance.
Check out this six-pack. Oh God, I feel like cancer.
What happened? I don't know. I just really have to keep this on.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, you could be short-sighted with it. You could be purely superficial, and it'd be great. I don't care about feeling like crap. Well, I just passed a kidney stone recently, so I know what feeling like crap all the time feels like, and I'm not about that.
You did just piss a kidney stone, man.
Yes, I did.
It's the same thing.
I meant to say pass, but accidentally said it was a Freudian slip.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
So you would rather feel healthy but look unhealthy?
Yep.
How unhealthy,
ultimately,
though?
because let's think about it this way: if that carried through into your 60s, your 80s, your end of life, and all that, if you who cares? Because we all look like melted ice cream after a while. But
that's true.
If you could feel good through all that, that's worth the world to me.
Here's the thing. I mean, we're talking about physically feeling good, or we're talking about mentally feeling good. So if I look good, but I physically feel bad, I'm gonna physically feel bad in my 30s and 40s and 50s anyway.
I can almost always mentally feel better when I physically feel good.
I don't want to look like a slob in my 60s and feel great. I feel great. I'm just a roly-poly piece of crap, but I feel great. 65 years old. That's one thing when you're like 13 or something, doesn't really matter. I want to have a good, mind when I'm in my 20s and my teens. Well,
being in the twilight of my life now, I realize that there's certain things that just aren't important anymore. And, fake Ken doll body features is just not what's important.
Just saying, think about being like Picard or like whatever, like 60 years old, you know. He probably he feels like crap. He looks great for his age, you know. But he looks like an old man.
Yeah, true.
I'd rather look like that than just being like some white, roly-poly, 80-year-old man. It's like,
You just feel great.
I feel terrific. I feel great. You look like you're gonna die.
Well, hey, in that sense, I feel like Picard, because even in those years when he was in his 40s and 50s and looked like he was in his 40s and 50s till his 80s now, that's great. Sure, you looked older when you were younger, but in the latter part of your life, you look the same age for 20, 30 years. That's great, too.
I just got this image of like a really overweight Captain Picard in like his 80 years, you know, it's like, hey, I feel great. It's terrible.
Right.
Make it so!
I still feel wonderful.
Is that a mustache sausage party? What?
Eli Strong. He's commenting on your
Well,
mustache.
there's a 80s party coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm just getting prepared for it.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm
Get just creep on.
do the creep.
All right,
I
let's
didn't bring
see
my
here.
bullets
What's going to
down.
be next? We'll go with Artisan on this one.
Artisan K,
I have
you're
a
up.
couple back there for Warrior specifically,
All right,
so we'll hold off on that. And you know, because we have to re-include you in this now. You know,
That's right.
We pushed you so far away with all of our Star Wars thoughts.
Hey, I just like creative players, you know. I can actually physically create somebody in the game if I don't get the
Well, you're
actual
great for
players
that,
and
actually.
stuff.
Yep.
I love having this guy around when he's doing a creative player because I know I'll actually look like the guy in the video game.
Like wrestling gives you like 50 spots to work with, but I might not be able to unlock like the actual people. So I said, F it, I'll just create the people I want.
Mm-hmm.
I'll create you, and then we'll wrestle it out. Actually, I don't even bother wrestling anymore.
If I want to make fun of you, then I can create your character in a unitard. Yeah, it's
Just go,
great.
let them fight. This is entertaining. Just watch you guys fight. I had the Mario Brothers at one point. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Good times. All right. So, Artisan, would you rather have wet socks for a whole year or a year-long cold?
Wet socks for a year or a year-long cold?
Something crappy or something crappy?
Well, here's the thing. If I had wet socks for a whole year, I might end up with a whole year cold anyway. Think about that. Wet socks. Your feet are wet, and feet usually when they get wet, it gets you sick. Especially if it's like a cold kind of wet, and it will be cold at one
And
point.
think about it. You have to keep them on all the time, so it's in your bed.
Yeah.
It's wet. You have to sleep with wet socks.
I mean, I already have cold, clammy feet.
I would rather just like cough and.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the cold. I mean, I deal with the cold at least once a year for an entire 1 year, and maybe never have another cold again, because I don't have to worry about wet socks for that year.
Yeah, if there was some kind of promise that
There
it would
could be
be the
mold.
last cold you ever had, you had to have it for a year.
promise.
You know?
See, there could be mold on those socks at the end of the year.
Well, there would be.
I'm saying you can end up with a lot of other
Your
problems.
feet would be amputated.
You can have
I'm
like-
sure of it. They're like,
which is
it would
another-
be like Saw. You know,
another
like,
good
here's
plug.
a saw. Just don't
Another
film
good plug
it.
for a public service announcement.
We just have to
here,
scroll
guys,
up to
all
your
right?
kneecaps.
There's certain things in life that are temporary. There are certain things in life that are temporary. You just need to accept the fact. That is underwear, socks, and pillows. You gotta change them out on a regular
Is
time.
death an option?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be if your socks were wet for a year.
That's terrifying.
Could just end up with gangrene somehow or something.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
I've had socks where I just stood up all day for 12 hours on concrete in my boots, and it was like working really hard all day, and then like you get home and you're like,
Do you ever have it?
I
ever
gotta
have
go
it?
take a shower. I couldn't imagine a year.
I remember like the lines and stuff like in your legs because the socks like peel it off. I got these horrible lines and wrinkles in my legs.
Well, hey, it could be the ultimate payback for anybody who's married with that situation, because she's always putting the cold feet on your back. Well, guess what, honey? Dishpan feet. Here you go.
Not to mention the stink factor. The stink
You'd
factor.
be sleeping on the couch.
You won't have
right.
a whole lot of friends.
After the first night, it'd
or
be
on the
done.
back porch.
Yeah, right.
I know you got
in
a
the trash
cold,
can.
Depending on
But
the
how many
stench.
times have you like had a cold in a relationship and she made out with you anyway and she got a cold? It was like, oops, sorry, huh?
Yeah. We're
Sorry.
miserable together.
Hey, you know, it's like she probably wanted to because then she could actually sit with you and hang out and you can both be miserable together.
Yeah.
It's only a year.
I'm like, beep, beep,
In
beep,
situations,
beep,
that's
beep,
where misery does love
beep.
company.
No eating the cards.
Sorry. Let's see.
It's not how this works.
Disgusting, Nelly. This is not how it works. It's not how any of this works.
Well, I mean, this is a kind of a question for either one of you.
Yeah, you gotta pick someone.
So I'm gonna go with the surest of shots.
All right. Pow, 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 pow.
That it is.
Would you rather only hear one song for the rest of your life,
Okay.
or only watch one TV show or a movie?
You gotta pick
one
one song forever.
one TV show, or one movie for
The rest of your life. And I know, it's a tough one, isn't it?
I like them all too. That's a hard one because when you actually, when you don't like a certain one and to a certain extent, it's always easy to kind of pass it off. When you have questions like, would you rather this of a sport or this is something horrible? Well, okay, yeah, this doesn't really.
Yeah, you
make
can
much
pick your
difference.
favorite song, you pick your favorite movie or favorite TV show, but you only get to watch that
Forever.
rest of your
But
life.
only
Or
one.
listen to that
Only one.
forever.
Only one of them. So
I mean, I guess the best option. I mean, you can have your answer.
You
but
could pick a musical, then you could watch and hear.
I would say the best option here for like extensive play is probably TV show, but that's extensive play because it's just a show, but it's got like 20
no,
seasons.
that's actually a brilliant point because
Like the Clone
TV
Wars.
shows are fleeting for me and they come and go and a lot of them are crap, some of them are good, and even with the good shows you got a lot of crap episodes
Right.
in between that are fillers, so you get and one TV show
Rebels.
only lasts so long, so if it was a situation where you had to pick one and you had to be that one TV show every time, well then you just obviously stop watching TV, right?
You could watch
Right.
Groundhog every day.
Yeah, right.
Ray Rock says.
That's a good one. It's a good one. I'd
So
watch that.
no, yeah, TV that's an easy one because that'd be terrible. I need music. I need a variety of music. I can't listen to one song the rest of my life. I
Right.
really enjoy movies, and I couldn't watch one movie the rest of my life because that'd just be so old and
You'd
redundant.
have to pick with
I
one
could
show,
easily be stuck with every time I look at TV, it's the same episode, and just be like, oh, turn the TV off. I got
Or-
better things to do.
You can watch something like South Park or Simpsons that's like 30 seasons long. Then
You
have
would
how many
die
episodes?
before it's like.
Well, now that's the thing.
overlaps.
I guess that's one thing they didn't specify. Is it one episode of a TV
Just
show
says TV.
or just one
It doesn't
TV
say
show?
series.
It's just one TV show.
It doesn't
watch
say
one TV
series.
show, which means you'd watch that TV show. The TV show has many seasons and many episodes.
Exactly.
So you'd be stuck watching that one TV show. So you'd be
Yeah.
watching all of The Simpsons like forever.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
Yeah.
It could be. Or it could be one of those shows that only lasts like 5 seasons.
Right. So
Just
Yeah.
don't pick anything on Netflix
I
because
wouldn't-
they get canceled after the first season or second
Exactly,
season.
which can almost be a good thing. But if I was gonna be stuck to only one, if I had to pick song, TV, or movie, it would definitely be a TV show.
But if it was Dragon Ball Z, you wouldn't be able to watch Dragon Ball GT, you wouldn't be able to watch Dragon Ball whatever,
Right.
and all the other ones. You just
So-
pick one of the Dragon Balls.
So then, if I had to pick one, okay, obviously it'd be a TV show. Fine, I could let that be redundant.
Yeah,
I
so
just
what
stop
would it
watching TV. So what would it be?
Yeah.
Overall, because there's a plethora, and they don't seem to be slowing down anytime
Would you say
soon.
it's a plethora?
I would
Plethora,
say it
of
was.
course
I don't know what a plethora means.
Then why would you say? I have a plethora.
Why would you say?
Yeah, I would probably go with South Park.
Yeah, South Park
Mm-hmm.
or Simpsons, just because they've been around forever.
Been around forever, got a lot to choose from, and I generally like what they had
Yeah,
to say. I
and
love
South
how
Park
much they make
or
fun of everything.
Simpsons, you'd actually be able to see the future.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
something
true.
really
There's a
predictable in the future.
coronavirus episode.
So, yeah.
Well, there's
Yep.
a Trump for president episode too.
Yeah.
Well, that would just make it
There's
more.
hundreds of
that would
them,
make it more monotonous and more redundant for me because
There's also
I'd be like,
Kobe Bryant
Simpsons have already done it, so
helicopter
therefore I'm
crash
going to
one.
be able to say Simpsons already done it every time because I've watched
terrible.
every episode 50 million times.
Well, I watched it for about 10 years and then I stopped watching it, but every now and again I'll pop it back on and be like, it's still relevant, it's still funny. But yet it is kind of like Simpsons again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel the same way about South
Oh,
Park.
and it's terrible.
I would
It ruins
rather-
South Park for me.
I would
for
rather
sure.
visually look at Simpsons over South Park.
Ah.
Animation-wise, I wouldn't be able to stand it after a while. Not to mention all the vulgarness of it.
The problem is Simpsons goes in and out of being funny, whereas South Park's usually funny all the time. So
Vulgar,
Wah, wah,
funny.
wah.
Depends on your sense of humor. To some degree.
Shrek, Scrubs.
Scrubs would be entertaining. Yeah, plenty of good funny ones.
only, what, like
All right,
Six
so you
characters
picked
long.
one, so now it's back to me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I picked you last time, so we're gonna
Back
pick
to
you,
you in the studio.
Artisan K. All right, Artisan K. Would you rather have? This is interesting. Have
In the wind?
dustpans for hands.
Oh, he's always about the hands.
I know,
Changing my hands is something.
dustpans. So your hands are
Would I rather have a
dustpans.
paintbrush and a pencil?
No,
yes,
this is,
I would.
This is
actually.
terrifying. This is a terrifying question because it's you're.
I have dishpan hands. Okay.
You're
dustpan.
Oh, dustpan.
You're automatically
Dustpan
thinking, I don't want
hands.
dustpan hands,
And
but
forever dustpan hands for the rest of your life, or you would sweat Smucker's jelly for the rest of your life.
Well, I'd be cleaning up after people, but I wouldn't be able to have. I need to have help at the whole time. Like, can you please sweep? Please, for the love of God,
You wouldn't
sweep.
be able to make a sandwich. You
Sweet.
wouldn't be able to open your car door.
Yeah, I'd have to
You
have
might be able to
everything.
open your car door if it was like a latch.
you might get really good at flipping pancakes.
Driving would be, you'd have to do an automatic, and you'd have to like
Yeah.
learn how to like dustpan that thing backwards and dustpan the.
Well, we just saw a trailer for that.
Everything be modified in your life.
Where the guy had guns bolted to his hands and he
Oh, yeah.
Sweat Smucker's jelly, even the slightest sweat, and you'd be sticky, dude.
Yeah.
No, but it'd be really tasty.
Oh, oh.
Well, that's right. It's an
Disgusting,
either or question,
disgusting.
right?
Yeah, it's
So
either
I
or.
mean, Would you rather lose the function of your hands almost entirely,
Oh, entirely, yeah.
or sweat jelly?
Are you a sweater?
I'm not. I glisten.
He does.
I know.
Women glisten, young man.
I know. Well,
So you
I'm
sweat.
transitioning. Oh wait, no. No, I feel like I don't sweat enough for it to be a huge problem, necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know too many people that don't like Smucker's jelly. Honestly.
Well, after watching you sweat it, I'm sure everybody would hate Smucker's jelly.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Ugh."
Hey man, check it out. This is great. Have a lick.
You're like, just peanut butter. Come on, guys. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine.
I love peanut butter, so every time I have peanut butter, I just lick my arm. I got PB&J.
We're out of jelly again. No, we're not.
Gross.
Yeah, it could be
Let
fun.
me run a few laps.
You're right. It could be fun. I'm gonna go with the jelly.
Ugh, gross.
I don't think you're ready for this jelly, Will. I don't know. Sorry. Warrior.
I am definitely not ready
Yeah.
for this jelly.
Yeah.
ArtisianK.
I'm not ready for losing the complete use of my hands. I
really
appreciate
need to
them
use
way
these
too
hands.
much in
Yeah,
my daily
disgusting.
life.
Exactly. I don't have to sweat while I use my hands.
Gross. Okay, well,
It's being air conditioning.
Smucker's jelly it is.
Yeah. And it'd be some like cheap plastic ones too. So you go to embrace your wife. Hey, honey, clack clack.
Would it have the same nutrients as Smucker's jelly? Or would it be actually just no nutrients, or doesn't really matter?
Is there any nutrients
It's
in
literal
Smucker's jelly?
Smucker's jelly.
That's
Yeah.
So whatever whatever's in Smucker's.
Gelatin, sugar, and food coloring.
So I might end up dying from diabetes over time.
Diabetes. Whoever's licking you would die of diabetes.
Well, dogs would be dying around me all the time.
You'd be stung by bees. Like, think about it. It would
That's
be like,
honey. It's honey. They don't
They're
like
still
it.
attracted to sweet.
Sweetness, yeah.
Yeah.
You have a problem with bears and
Well,
wolves,
it
for sure.
would definitely tell me to move to a different climate for sure.
Yeah, that'd be gross. All right, you're up. That's nasty. Your
Alright.
clothes would be stuck on you. It'd be like your shirt would be like this. It would be like,
Well, at
"Eh."
least it would make me clean my clothes every time I wear them.
All right,
Or
bring
like
on
6
the
times a day.
debate because this is gonna be. I think this is gonna turn into one. I
All right,
had
this
artisan,
is-
that's from rights, and that's warrior.
All right, I'm
All
up.
right. Would you rather take on a mama lion with just a dagger, or a pack of 8 wolves with just 8 bullets and a gun? So you get weapons, but would you rather fight the mama lion with just a dagger, or 8 wolves with 8 bullets and a gun?
You better be a crack shot with those wolves. But the knife, the mama lion is protecting her cubs, and she's more of the
No.
edgy
It says a mom lion, but it infers it's a mom lion because you know that it has a baby, but it
Yeah.
doesn't say the baby's around.
The lioness does the hunting.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But-
So they're more violent, I suppose.
Yes, they are. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
And that's
kind of knife do
definitely
we have?
that's
It doesn't
definitely
say they're currently protecting their cubs.
Right.
So
Rambo
that,
knife?
That changes.
Hold on.
That changes the
yeah. It
mentality
says
of the
dagger.
lion.
A
Yeah,
dagger,
it says
a dagger, yes. A
Oh,
dagger
it's
is a
even
very
worse.
a dagger is a very specific
Letter
kind of
opener?
weapon. It does have a hilt, so it's not going to slip off because as it gets
Yeah,
bloody.
dagger is usually a fixed blade.
Yeah, it's a fixed blade. It's going to have a hilt, so my hand's not going to slip off of it when blood starts shooting out of this thing as I start
Yeah, but
stabbing
don't
it.
stab
This is
quite a
horrifying.
lot,
She's going to destroy me. She's going to destroy me. I will probably not survive that attack.
Probably not.
And I would probably mortally wound her.
Well, she was a
So
cheetah.
I will die.
If she was a cheetah.
I will die.
Smucker's jelly. That's it right there.
It's okay. If it was a bald eagle, I'd have this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking out a lion with Smucker's jelly.
So, definitely the lion, definitely the lion,
Oh, she starts
definitely
licking.
the lion would actually get me unequivocally. I would.
You have a chance with the bullets.
Nope. Yeah, I would definitely be dead. With a wolf, you see, wolves travel in packs. There's 8 of them, and they're very strategic with their attacking.
Yeah.
And they don't all come in at once.
No.
It's normally the alpha, and the oldest, and the alpha. The oldest goes in first, and the reason why the oldest goes in first is because if he gets injured and dies, that's okay. And he's also the veteran. He used to be an alpha, and so he's got the most attack experience within him. And if he, like I said, if he gets killed, he's okay with it because he understands. So he's actually the deadliest, except he's got
Let the lose.
except for he's the oldest, so he's kind of doesn't have time on his side. And then the alpha comes in after to kind of back him up to attack you as well. But he tries to take advantage of you once the other one kind of gets you down. So they kind of bully you. The pack sits out and kind of watches, And the moment they feel like those two have you kind of in a bad place, the rest of them just come in and it's.
You don't think like a bullet?
It's brutalization. It's brutalization. If you've watched videos, it's fascinating to watch a pack of wolves come in like this.
Wolves are in a hunt. Usually, a gunshot won't scare them off, especially in a pack.
No, in a pack, this is not gonna.
Does it say a pack?
They will rip me apart. They will rip me apart. 8 wolves, 8 bullets. So what I would do is, as he came up, I would feed my arm to him like you do.
It's not a revolver, you know. It's an automatic.
It's whatever I want because it says a gun, like bullets. So I get to choose. So it would be a 45, and it would have a 45, and it would be a lead.
Or something.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be hollow point. You'd have to do
Silver
solid.
bullets.
No, not silver. This isn't werewolves, yo.
Single stack 1911.
And you wouldn't use hollow points because it would stop shy. And when he would come in, because he's coming in and they're starting to circle, I would do the whole forearm trick. And as he lunged and took, I would just do a single shot into the ear canal, which would go straight to the brain. He'd drop dead. And I would continue to do forearm maneuver, single shot to the brain. I would have to strategically do each one and be able to survive by doing a single shot in the ear on each one. And that would be very, very difficult. But if I was able to kill those first 2 successfully, even if I missed a shot or 2, I'd have those 8 bullets to kill those first 2. If those first 2 died, the pack could very likely lose their momentum and realize they lost their alpha and their elder and decide they're going to bail on the whole decision to fight me because they realize I'm a warrior, and they are like,
he's not going down without
this
a fight.
guy isn't going down, he's got
Warrior's
something.
a warrior.
And then they could decide to scatter and regroup. Wolves often do that when they face like a bear that ends up killing one of their own. They'll like run, they'll howl, they'll regroup, and then they'll.
Call yourself a bear.
Well, I would be like a bear in that sense that I would be taking advantage of their elder and their alpha. So really, those 8 bullets would be really, really important to be able to take out their alpha and their elder. But it would be strategic, and I'd have to, like I said, earshot. The reason for the earshot is it's the quickest way into the brain. Yep, and so you'd have to do the arm and then be able to do an earshot. Yeah. So you'd literally punch them with the gun into the ear.
Just 2 jaws on that arm.
Huh?
Yeah, at least 2 jaws on that arm at some point.
Yeah, but there's the least amount of blood loss capability on your forearm. You're not going to have the same kind of blood loss you would if they attach to your leg, especially the inside of your leg, or if you allow them to attach in other places. And they're going to lunge, and basically dogs naturally have a tendency to try to nip and bite at whatever is the easiest, and if you feed them something, they kind of go after whatever. As they kind of come, you put your arm out like that, and they'll grab it to pull you down. As they grab it, you just shoot them. So unfortunately, this is how you're trained to dispatch dogs, not wild wolves, but dogs in law enforcement. If you're in a significant battle against a large domesticated dog who's attacking you, Rottweilers, Labradors, any kind of German Shepherd, any kind of large dog.
Doberman Pinschers.
Yep, this is how you would dispatch it, but you would have to do it pretty efficiently and quickly. This is terrifying. I would definitely not take the lion. I would take the wolves.
Yeah, they don't teach you
there
that.
You go.
I like your reasoning.
Academy.
I like your reasoning if all those things played out that way. The only counter I would say to that is it's 8-on-1 in a stressful situation where you only have 8 bullets, so you're naturally going to miss a few. You're naturally going to pull the trigger more than you want to. You're going to do something stupid to screw up. 1-on-1 with the lion and a dagger, I feel like in some situations and circumstances I'd have more of a chance. So it kind of depends on the circumstance, but I'd be torn on those two. My logic, I like a 1-on-1 situation better than I like an 8-on-1.
Once the lion realized that you were harming it, it would probably want to bail. The problem is the adrenaline from her attacking you. She very likely wouldn't realize she was even being injured until she was dragging your body away from the kill scene.
And you both are dead.
No, she would kill you, drag you away, and then realize she had some mortal wounds, start licking them, and then later bleed out.
Right.
She wouldn't even, because of the adrenaline, wouldn't even realize she was actually injured because the dagger's so thin, you'd probably stab her while she was attacking you.
Right.
And so she wouldn't have that mental acknowledgement that she was being critically injured. Now, if you stabbed her in the eye and got away with something like that, then she'd be like, "Arr!" you know, and like
Yeah.
run off. And she's all of a sudden now a little dog. But
I mean, it's hard to say because when the last time I was attacked by a lion, I didn't have that set of circumstances.
Yeah.
And it was only 6 wolves the first time. So you know.
right.
Happen very often.
Why is it I always get the questions on being attacked in the wild by animals? I like them, don't get me wrong. Those are crazy questions, but I feel like I always get those questions.
Is this my turn now?
I've been targeting you.
Oh, I've got one of those questions for you guys.
I've been targeting you with those questions because I like your explanations.
All right.
Over analytical.
This was for you, warrior.
Oh, 2 in a row.
Would you rather have a chef, a masseuse, or chauffeur the rest of your life?
I enjoy driving way too much, so I don't care about a chauffeur.
Yeah.
A chef is amazing, but my wife's one of the best cooks I know. She can cook Italian food. So my wife is a blended individual. She has she's Native American, she's Chinese, she's Hispanic. So she
This much African American?
Yep, she does have a little African American. So, but she does, and she has learned to do lots of Native American stuff, such as Navajo tacos. You know, the Navajo bread, things like that.
We can attest. She's a great cook.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And so for cook, like the.
She's not a bad masseuse either. So
No, she's not a bad masseuse, but unfortunately, with age comes arthritis, and so that has to come down the list of things she's has a hard time doing anymore. And as I go up in age, my back gets worse, and could really use professional massage
what if his name
therapy.
was Ted or something?
I enjoy driving too much, and my wife cooks too amazing, so it would have to be a massage therapist professionally for the rest of my life. That would be awesome. That was easy.
I the most from that one too.
I think a lot of us would.
Yep.
Because again, I only eat to live. I don't live to eat. And again, I like to drive too much, and I
mean, I
in
can
that
see-
sense, I'm a control freak.
I can see benefits in all of it, but definitely the masseuse would be like, oh yeah.
Your overall well-being on a regular basis. I'm so stressed out
My
today.
current
It's all right, Jorge.
But you can get like a
My
massage
current
chair,
massage
too, for like
therapist
$2,000.
is a little tennis ball at work.
yeah.
I just throw it on the ground and then I roll around on it, and then
Like
I
a
feel
cat, you
then I
said.
feel a little better. No, I don't play with it. I roll around on the concrete floor on it, and it like readjusts my back. It hurts, but it
Then
feels
old
better.
people walk in and wonder what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, it says, Rory, you're already married to a chief right now, so that's a trick question. I know, right? For sure. Exactly. She is. Okay, so my turn. My turn now.
Your turn.
And let's see. I did you and then you, ArtisianK, last time. So back to you, SureShot.
Okay.
I'm going to get you now with your question. You got to listen to this because it's kind of confusing. So would you rather fight... So you're gonna have to fight
For your right.
animals. 100 duck-sized, just little duck-sized
swans.
horses. So these are actual horses that can, bite you, they can kick you, but they're just sizes of ducks.
Nay, I say.
100 of them though.
100.
100 duck-sized horses, or
Are they wild horses?
one large horse-sized duck. And ducks are mean sometimes, especially if they're being territorial. Like a straight up, like a male,
little duck bill,
like a male mallard duck that does not want you on his turf, and he's about to like mate. He would bill you, and he would actually peck you with his bill.
I've taken on Canadian goose before. They're vicious. They hiss. They bite. I've never taken on a duck before, so I'm not sure. I'm not
Now
really.
think about it being the size of a horse.
Versed in this particular
2,000
type of fight.
pounds.
So
it could crush you.
When I go out and pick a fight with an animal,
They'd fly.
what I look for
They fly too. A giant one would fly.
could fly. Yeah. So basically, it could just fly and then jump and land on me. Or whatever,
It's a horse-sized duck. It's still a duck. It's just the size of a huge horse.
It's like a unicorn or a Pegasus, only it's a duck.
Yeah.
You know?
So I mean,
That's
a
a
horse-sized
massive
duck
duck.
seems like an insurmountable task, but yet the guilty conscience of knowing that I killed 100 duck-sized horses. I mean, how many kids in cancer units could benefit from those
Burger
horses?
King,
I mean, like
Burger King now offers sliders.
yeah, right, exactly.
Horse meat. I'm just saying.
They're like this big. You can't ride that.
You're like punch, kick. But there's 100 of them.
Yeah,
they can
so I mean,
overwhelm you.
They're not gonna bite.
With all these fancy questions.
Horses
we had
bite?
to-
Are you kidding me?
Not really. They
With their chompers, it hurts bad.
But the chompers are gonna be like this big.
That's true.
Yeah.
Their chompers won't hurt as bad, and their kicks would be like, meh,
Yeah.
meh.
Ooh, hey, who? Because you'll be stomping on half of them.
So yeah, in our little world, since we can set morality
Our
aside,
world.
since we're talking about fantasy questions here, I can
We're
set
gonna
aside
do-
the fact that I would be
In
one of the
our
only
little
people
world.
who would know where to find
Listen, it's your
horses,
survival. It's
and
your
my
survival.
Well, then I'll tell you right now, I could punt 100 mini horses before I could take on one
Wild horse is good.
Horse-sized duck.
Yeah. Wild horse is good.
Because I mean, it could sit on you,
Yeah.
2,000 pounds. I mean, I had a horse that was 1,400 pounds.
It can go on the water.
So it could potentially.
fly.
That was a female.
Yeah.
It could potentially be
It's more dangerous
up
than
to
a horse.
2,000
Oh, yeah.
pounds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be up to 2,000 pounds. So this thing could fly and like land on you,
Right. It
and then just sit on you
Yeah, 'cause
and
that's
kill
funny.
you.
I would almost feel better about taking on a horse before I take on a horse-sized duck, because I think a horse-sized duck would be more dangerous than just a horse.
Yeah, if you stay in front
Yeah,
of the
because
horse,
it could flap and like
Yeah.
bill you down and.
if you stay in front of the horse, you might have a better shot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like dodging.
Horses don't generally bite; they kick.
Yeah.
Ducks will try to bite before they'll kick.
Yeah.
So with
That's a big beak.
A horse-sized duck.
Oh, and think about the
that'd be
beak.
rough.
At a normal duck, the
Oh,
beak
yeah.
hurts, but it's not that big a deal.
But it's still pretty
Think
big.
about the horse-sized duck, how big that beak is. It could possibly crush you.
You could eat
Exactly.
Think about
if
the
you get an arm in
power.
there or whatever, probably could crush
It
your
could probably
arm.
just
So,
rip
yeah.
your arm off. You're like, oh, help.
Sorry, little horses. Gonna be a lot of little, be a lot of equestrian death going on that
That's
day.
terrifying.
Miniature
Well,
equestrian
nobody can really
death.
ride it anyway, so what's the point? Pointless
terrible.
mini horses.
Pointless? No, I'm sorry. Still, 100 horses in the cancer ward for the children. I'm telling you right now, it'd probably cure cancer.
Flying around, yeah.
Oh man, they're all over the place. Ah, jeez.
No.
100. It's on you, isn't it?
Could probably kill 100 horses. Wild horses. All right, which one do I want to save for last?
I want to sneeze
definitely
again.
that one. All right, so who did I get last time? Was
Oh
it
yeah, the omelet.
I don't know.
the omelette?
Making some
These are the words
eggs.
you've used.
Some
It
duck
was
eggs.
the
See, making an omelet.
I think
Oh,
it
Year
was
Long
me.
Cold. So yeah, it'd be on you, warrior. All right. So if you were a general in the Civil War, and you could get a T-Rex,
Well, no, this was me.
right?
The bullets.
The bullets one, yeah.
Bullets.
The last one I did was ArtisianK with the
No,
what
the
sucks
last-
for a year or
that
Year
was-
Long Cold.
That was the last one.
Right. So that's why this one's going to warrior.
Okay.
So
And it doesn't really matter at this point.
to repeat myself,
There's
All right.
if you were a general in the Civil War
All right.
and you could get a T-Rex or a modern war tank to fight on your side, what are you taking? T-Rex or a tank if you were a Civil War general?
I would Civil War.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I would have to take the tank,
Yeah.
and this is why,
Why would you?
because back then in the Civil War, I mean, they still did have like cannons and stuff, and
So
I
that's
think
artillery, yeah.
yeah,
Some.
I think those
Not very
cannons,
accurate, but-
you know, it would T-Rex could probably run through a number of like, you know, cavalry regiment and get to the, you know, some
But
of
if
that,
he
but
gets hit by
but
one
eventually a cannonball hits it, it goes right through him, and he's
Yeah.
just like "Meh," and
Yeah.
dies. But a
can't
tank
do anything.
is invincible during Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like ching, ching, ching,
It
ching,
could,
ching,
it
ching,
could brush
ching,
off quite a few direct cannon hits before
Yeah.
one would probably penetrate the armor.
might
Yeah,
just
but
go
I mean, if especially if like an M1A1 Abrams going like 35 miles an hour,
Is it
it's
a modern
never,
tank?
It's,
or an old?
It specifically
Yeah.
says a modern war tank.
Yeah,
Yep.
modern war tank's
It's-
better than a World War II
yeah,
tank.
it's not going to get hit by a can.
I wouldn't want to take on the Civil War with a Sherman. I mean, probably break down before it.
Because you would just do a Z pattern down the road, and they would not even be able to.
Oh crap,
target
we gotta recorrect. Oh crap, we gotta recorrect again.
There's no way they could hit a
Yeah.
moving target like that.
No.
They've sitting there.
And then he also, it has far better range. So he would just, you know, we would park outside a range and then just
Start shooting.
and then boom, it would be done. So
All right,
a tank.
arsenals.
a
Yeah,
tank is literally
you could take
invincible.
you could take the cannons out from a distance with
Oh
the
yeah.
tank.
Yeah.
You could take the
Yeah,
tank
it's
out for
pretty
distance.
simple.
But so the tank is the logical one to take because you could just decimate and destroy, and we all
Yeah.
know that, right?
The reality
It's
is,
invincible.
the caveat is,
But if you could ride the T-Rex,
Yeah, like Abraham Lincoln.
that would be the most fun. It's like, wait, you wouldn't,
You're in the wrong
Abraham
shirt.
Lincoln
You
screaming
wouldn't-
America.
you wouldn't kill people with the
Right.
little arms, but you'd watch him like eat people, and they'd be shooting him, and you'd be like, meow, meow,
Eat the
meow,
lawyers.
meow.
All the
The one
lawyers.
That'd be so much fun.
The one thing I'm thinking about now, though, between those two, you don't have to refuel the T-Rex.
Yeah, machine guns as well.
It can eat whatever it needs to survive. Whereas,
and the
how
T-Rex
much
is pretty fast.
How much ammunition do you have for that tank? Because once that runs out, you're out. You ain't find anywhere else in a Civil War era
But
fight.
you
and
have to-
what about when you run out of diesel?
You have to train that T-Rex though.
No, the T-Rex is a given. It's a trained, and it's okay with you.
Yeah.
And you're on its
You
back.
sure about that?
Yep.
Is
Oh,
it
yeah.
okay with the rest of
It's
your
a
soldiers?
given.
Otherwise,
Yep.
what the heck's the point of
Yeah,
T-Rex?
yeah. It has to be a given that the T-Rex is
Yeah.
like cool with you and your
Well,
people.
they stand pretty
I
still in
agree.
Civil War.
I agree.
You
The
might not even
T-Rex
see
is
them.
finite in the sense that enough musket fire, enough stabbings, enough cannons would eventually take it down.
Yep.
Yeah. You wouldn't
Definitely
see it
wouldn't be a scratch in the tank's armor.
logically, your tank, if used right, could take out stuff better. But
you'd probably only win one battle with the tank,
Well, then
because
don't
by
tell
then
them.
you'd need to refuel.
But think about it.
and
Tell them about
T-Rex,
fuel.
you could take it into the brush from the side, and then sheer terror alone,
know
you could just
about
like come
T-Rex.
running from the sides, like.
I know about T-Rex.
Like,
It would be terrifying.
Especially if you're riding
As they're
the T-Rex.
running sideways, and they're like trying to trying to reload their muskets.
Another perspective.
As they get eaten.
They know what a
He's
T-Rex
just stomping
is.
on fools while he
Some
runs
degree.
down cavalry.
To some degree, they kind of know what a T-Rex is or whatever, but they would not know what a tank is. I mean, they've seen sort of like armored things, like the Merrimack and the whatever. I can't think of the other ship, but they're pretty slow and boring.
Yeah, they've seen armored ships up to that point.
Yeah, but not armored. Arsenal moving, because they only had was trains and carriages at that point. So this thing
Horses,
is,
yeah.
So they don't know what it runs on. You can say that
If you use the T-Rex strategically, he could possibly last longer than the tank actually. But
I'm
you
saying-
have,
Oh wait, but we didn't ask. Is it an eco-friendly biodiesel tank? Because
I'm just saying, out of fear factor alone, they won't even know, like, where's this arsenal coming from? Because I've never seen anything quite like this before, ever. No machine guns, no.
it would
cannons
inspire
like that.
fear though,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
if-
yeah. Fear.
Either one. would
there'd be
inspire
something
fear.
in the distance, and they'd be like looking through. They're like, what's that? And then all
You
of a
wouldn't even have
sudden,
to turn it on.
their
yet.
cannon, the biggest piece of artillery they have, would just explode, and they'd be like, let's go.
Yeah.
Go,
And
go,
they
go,
just
go,
give
go,
up
go,
after
go, go,
one
go, go,
battle
go. We gotta
anyway.
get out of here. We gotta get
They
out
wouldn't
of here.
have to know that you only had enough for one battle. They'd give up after one battle, one or two.
One shot,
It's
and
like,
they would
holy
be like,
crap!
they have a metal T-Rex.
Yeah,
you
this
know?
is
Yeah, because
terrifying.
even if it didn't show up in any future battles, you've already demoralized them.
Yeah, monitor. Thank you. I forgot about the monitor.
Yeah.
The Merrimack.
Merrimack and the monitor. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. You have to take that into account because one is more effective than the other, but one relies more on nowadays technology,
Yeah.
so you'd be done with one battle.
Yeah, but you probably would be. Even with a strategic, T-Rex, you'd probably be done with one battle, but you might get killed in the process, or he might get killed.
He could just
You're not
one
protected.
fell swoop, just one
Yeah.
fell
Yeah.
swoop.
Either way, you're still known
Lucky shot.
as a general as commanding beast, either steel or organic.
Well, and he wouldn't be able to like hide well, so they would send out like special forces
Yeah.
in a
you
sense
could
to like
attack from
find
a
you at
distance.
There
nighttime.
were marksmen and sharpshooters back
Yeah.
then that could possibly put one right in his eye.
Distance.
Yeah.
And you can't. You're protected. Completely
They
protected.
would find
at
out where you were
distance.
hiding, and then they would try and like
If you had enough
ambush
fuel,
and sniper him
Yeah.
in the
and
middle
it
of the
would
night and
carry
just shoot him with as many bullets as they could.
all your
So,
armies
yeah,
with
I
enough
agree.
fuel.
The stealth factor, they wouldn't know about it until they didn't know what hit them.
Even the
Plus
sound.
the demoralizing factor.
Yeah,
Either
but-
one of them would be done after one battle, probably,
Yeah.
but you'd be more effective in demoralizing the enemy with the tank than
Yeah.
with the T-Rex.
Right. Yeah, you can only take out an entire, not just regiment, but whatever's there.
See, the
basically.
T-Rex, they might think that there was some kind of trickery going on
T-Rex
there
would
or
be more
whatever.
fun though.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah,
Fun
for sure.
entertainment factor.
Da 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 da. Running down there, Calvary.
Also, you can run over people with.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
And granted, you can do with both, but you can run over quite a few. Just running over dead bodies everywhere. You can end
Yeah,
there. Dead
but
bodies
Just
sometimes.
doing donuts in their front line
But
for a
T-Rex would
while.
be more fun. I'm just saying that.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Entertaining
I'll give it
regardless, to whichever.
T-Rex. He's my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pick a dinosaur?
No, I didn't. I picked something else, and I used you last. But
You used me?
You used me. You really used
since
me.
you enjoy animals, I'm gonna give that one to you. All right, this one's for you.
Sure shot.
All right.
Oh, yeah, well, this bud is for you.
So
All right.
for $10,000,
Dollars.
hey, 10 grand.
Wow.
Would you spend 2 days carrying around a human-looking Japanese robot that you would have to introduce to people as your girlfriend?
Oh.
For $10,000 in only 2 days, carrying this Japanese robot around and say, "This is my girlfriend. Her name is Yolanda."
I could throw this football over those mountains.
2 days. It's only 2 days. 10 grand. Boom.
Yeah, it's only 2 days.
10
I don't
grand.
really have a whole lot of self-respect anymore. And I don't like money.
No, I like money. Would you tell everybody I'm only doing this for 10 grand?
You
or
can't.
say-
You can't. You could tell him maybe after the fact, but not during.
Yeah,
that would defeat the whole point.
purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because for only 2 days, people can look and go like, oh, that was a weird phase, but whatever, it's done now, you know.
How'd you do
At
that?
least he sought help and got that figured out, you know.
But they wouldn't even know if it's Japanese robots. It might actually look
So
really
that's just,
real.
that's just
it's not
basically,
realistic,
That's
yeah.
just a yes or no question. Would
Yeah.
I, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And, you know, because it's one thing to say, okay, you'd be forced to do it and have to walk around for 2 days, whatever, with no reward. But I mean, I get
You
10
get 10
grand
grand
for 2 days of work.
with a realistic robot.
And believe me, it would be work to try and keep a straight face while people are
But-
looking at you like, what the?
I mean, that image is
But
very
it says
realistic.
you had to.
Introduce her as my
Yeah,
girlfriend.
It's got to be your girlfriend.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that means you have to be in public because
Okay,
you'd have
here's
to be
my
able
reason
to
behind all
introduce-
that. Have you seen Lars and the Real Girl with Ryan Gosling?
No, but
They
I don't
gave him a
remember.
huge pass. I'm not as attractive as him, but
Yeah.
you know, if he
And he
gets
had
a
a
pass,
mustache.
if he gets a pass for his, you know, his temporary psychosis, then I
Nothing
get a
wrong
pass.
with having a sex bot, apparently.
Yeah, you know, I mean, come on.
That's
Women
not
have
true.
toys all the time.
This is my girlfriend, though. We are going to be engaged in about 2 years. Still new, still fresh.
Yeah,
And then 2 days
exactly.
later,
Yeah.
you're like, it didn't work out.
Hold on, guys. Here, I don't want to start throwing around titles and everything. I mean, we are saying boyfriend, girlfriend, but let's see how it plays out first. You know, let's not rush
2 days
into
later,
these
you got a
things.
brand new car. You're like, it didn't work out.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Yeah.
didn't work out.
Turns out I got
Good
10
choice.
grand,
Someone
and I found a perverted car dealer who would want to do a straight across trade.
They're like,
No biggie.
They're like, something wasn't right with her. She didn't really talk like a normal person.
Yeah, exactly.
But they do
She
talk.
talked like this,
Yeah,
and I'm
she
not
did-
sure why.
She didn't talk back to me and belittle
There
me and
is
make me feel
a-
bad about myself and emasculate me.
There
What's wrong?
is a
She responded to OK Google.
there is a Japanese robot now that is
She's Alexa.
is based on Scarlett Johansson. Kind of like her, only it's just a
I'm
cell
gonna check
phone.
my phone. I bet you it's like
There literally is a. I don't know-
Going off
I don't know if
now.
you call it a sex robot or whatever, but it's just a robot that they made that is based on like the outward look of Scarlett Johansson. I don't know if that's based on her
So they-
or the movie.
They did already?
Yeah, they did that already.
I did.
And it's got like it's,
I mean,
it's almost
they
like
would,
Ex
yeah.
Machina, Machina, kind of like that.
Ex Machina? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a Machina? Okay, fine. Just
macchiato. Yeah, it's kind of like
as with all things in the English language, just take all of our rules and chuck them out the door for one or two words.
They totally do that. They have that in real life. I don't know if it's gotten better or
Ooh, wow. Gooba Team brings up a good point, though. It says could end up being like L337.
Yep.
Well, then in which case, this is Terminator 2 Judgment Day, baby. You're going down. I'm dismantling that robot myself.
well, what if it's the Terminator from Terminator 3 though? I mean, it's pretty trash.
I don't know. Christina Loken was still pretty evil.
Yeah, but she was pretty fine.
Yeah.
It's only 2 days.
That's
you
a pretty
can run
terrible-
away for 2 days. She's my girlfriend. She's gonna kill me. Sorry.
Nothing to see here.
All right. I'm like, reel it back in. Reel it back in.
All right.
This is for you, ArtisianK. This is my last question
It's all over
of
for
the
you.
day. Would you rather? This is sad. This is a really sad question.
Is it sad because it's me, or is it sad because it's the question?
The question's sad.
Okay.
They're both defeatist things that you have to decide which
Yeah.
sucky, which sucky thing you'd have to do. Would you rather be the best receiver in the NFL, absolute best receiver in the NFL,
But your name is Aaron Hernandez.
Oh!
But-
sorry.
but drop the game-winning pass in the Super Bowl,
Aaron Hernandez. No.
He did catch.
or be the absolute best player in the NBA, but miss 2 free throws and lose Game 7 in the finals?
Huh. But I only have to do it in one, right? I can always come back the next year and be that comeback player of the year.
You get to
Caught
be
the-
the loser of the Super Bowl, and it's your fault that you lost the Super Bowl, or you get to be the loser of Game 7 in the finals of the NBA, and it's your fault that your team lost
Okay,
the
so there's a
NBA.
lot of pressure behind both.
You're going to lose
situations.
either way. Would you rather be the best player in the NBA or the best player in the NFL, but lose the top pinnacled game of that sport?
I'm gonna say, and listen to my logic here. I'm gonna say NBA player because there's a lot of pressure in Game 7 and having to deal with those kind of free throws. I know it seems weird, but in this day and age, with like LeBron James in his early years who couldn't shoot a free throw and he spent 90% of his time there, it's not that big of a deal because he got better as years went on, and he always had the endorsements. He didn't lose his job based on losing a Game 7 of a championship series. He just became more and more popular because they crapped on him and whatever. So, but if you were just a receiver in the NFL, you could lose your job the next year. You know, you're not the quarterback who missed the open pass throw or whatever. If you're the quarterback, you might have a chance because you can come back and do it again. But as a receiver, you're kind of a secondary player. But as the best player in the NBA, and you miss those 2 free throws to lose the Game 7, you're coming back next year. You're going to win Game 7 on those free throws and forget all about it.
Well, you want to know why? Because when it comes down to football and basketball, who cares about basketball?
That's true too.
Ouch.
But you make more as an individual in basketball. If you're the best player on your team, you know, not every receiver is the best player on everybody's team.
True.
But the best player, he has to be the best receiver in football, or whatever.
I don't know. See, I have an opposite analogy.
It says the best receiver. It doesn't say the best player. That one says the best player.
Yep.
So if you're the best
So you're
player
the
in the game,
absolute
you're
best
Michael
player.
Jordan. You're
Yep.
freaking the best player.
Yep. You're Michael Jordan,
And
and you missed the most mundane, most basic thing that every human should be able to do to
in
become
this
an
day and
NBA player.
age where basketball
and,
sucks,
and you
it's
miss,
okay.
and you miss 2 free throws, you shouldn't be in the NBA.
But they won't.
And
They will.
no. They will judge you into
LeBron's still in the
eternity.
NBA.
LeBron is still in the NBA. That man has missed many a free throws.
Free throws are the most mundane
Shaq.
thing. Shaq was given. Shaq still to this day.
Player in the NBA.
Still to this
how
day
many free throws?
He is given hell. Both of these people will be returning.
Sure, I will be
guarantee
given
it.
hell, but I will have all sorts of money and endorsements and play for about 20 years.
You will be given a bad time both ways, but you'll be given a worse time, in my opinion, because it is you and only you.
But you'll keep
nobody
your
else.
job.
Listen, nobody else is involved. It's you and only you throwing that ball, and if you fail, it's on you. Throwing a pass, you get 50-50. Half of it was the thrower, half of it was you.
How about
You
this?
get to be like, hey,
How about this?
the throw was crappy, and my catch was crappy.
In sports, in life, in politics, the whole overwhelming theme is that you don't have to worry about personal responsibility now. So,
What about this? Yeah,
But my
exactly.
point is
Across the
it's a
whole thing.
50-50 thing. He throws, you catch. It's a 50-50 shared experience.
Yeah, it could've been a perfect
whereas
throw.
the free throw is a
You drop it.
100%
On
you,
you saying, yeah.
nobody else. So if
a lot of
you're going to be
pressure.
given a hard time,
but history
and
has
not only
shown
that,
how much
it
people
says
don't
you're the
care.
best receiver, but that's just one position of a team sport.
Yes.
This says you're the best NBA player of all time.
I know there's going to be a lot of pressure on you for the rest of your career, but you're going to have a career.
You're going to be given a
There's
really hard time being the absolute best player missing too.
You're still gonna be a
Whereas if you're
millionaire.
the best receiver but what about the person who threw the
And
ball?
what about this?
What if he happens to be kind of a not as good a quarterback? They'd probably blame the quarterback.
Well, sure,
They
but-
might not even blame you.
But when you're at the Super Bowl, you're not going to go with a crappy quarterback.
Look at
I don't
Trubisky,
know.
look at
There's a few
Tebow,
quarterbacks that
look at-
have gone because their defense won games because
true.
the defense
If
is
the defense is that good, you wouldn't
Defense
have to
wins
rely on a
Super Bowls.
game-winning catch then, would you?
so.
You wouldn't have to. And how about this? What if I miss that free throw and then I run up there, catch it, slam dunk, game over, I won?
Yeah, play your own rebound.
I can miss those 2 free
What
throws
up,
and
Andrew?
still win that game.
Andrew says you
Hey,
can still blame the
welcome
hoop.
Exactly.
Well, this isn't a carnival, you know?
Yeah.
They have a hoop there like
Yeah,
this.
the hoop was smaller than the ball.
Yeah.
What
It's not
about
like-
the other 100 points? Well, I don't know.
It
It's
doesn't
short.
matter.
No, the ball can make it to the hoop in the carnival. It used to be exactly with it, none of the slop.
I'm telling you, they'll forget all about it if you come back next year and make those 2 free throws. Or if you get your own rebound, make a slam dunk, and win the game in Game 7. I can miss those 2 free throws, still get my own rebound, make a slam dunk, win the game anyway.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
basketball!
You're up. Last card. It goes to SureShot. Your last one.
Europe.
Me?
Yep.
It's
Your
Europe.
last card goes to SureShot.
My last card goes to me. I had to ask myself this
Or
question.
no.
Okay.
SureShot's up. Your last card goes to ArtisianK.
Confused here.
Is it? Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, this is going to be a fun one for both of you anyways, for sure.
All right. You all have an opinion.
Would you rather know the lyrics to every song ever
I hear what he does. So this is silly.
or get $5,000?
Oh.
Or get $5,000? Just get $5,000?
They don't really put a very high premium on knowing every
Oh,
lyric
lyrics.
to every song.
Well,
ever.
I don't really
Yeah.
need to know every lyric to every song. I mean, I can figure it out, at least the ones I actually like. So I would just take the money. Screw it.
See, and I am an opportunist. I would say I would learn the lyrics to every song, and then I would go and enter in contests where you could win money for knowing the lyrics to every song, and I would earn like $1 million doing.
Do they still have those
contests.
shows anymore?
There, I guarantee there'd be a show somewhere where I'm like, I bet you $10,000 right now. I know
Name
the
that
lyrics
tune.
to whatever song you say, and they go, "Oh yeah."
Well, name
and I
that
go,
tune,
yeah,
that's
and
the
they
thing,
go,
but it's not
and they'd be like arrogantly like, "I'll give you $20,000
No,
if
it's
you
not
can name the lyrics
They could,
to
I
this
guess,
song,"
but-
and then they'd be like, "I'll double down."
How about if name that tune was a
I'd
thing?
walk away
I'd
with
totally
like
do it then.
$1
But
million because some
Yeah.
idiot would arrogantly.
because
try
of the
to-
inflation, because probably $5,000 was the grand prize on name that tune back in the day anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. But if it is now, it'd probably be like 50,000 or
Yeah,
something.
$5,000 is just not enough. I'd want to know
Exactly.
every song.
Well, and as much as knowing every lyric ever would get old and redundant, you feel like you've already heard the song before.
What's
it would
$5,000?
it would just reaffirm why I still don't like R&B, rap, hip hop, country music, and all
Yeah.
that, because then I would actually know and I
Well,
could
that's the
actually
thing.
understand and hear all the lyrics and go, oh, see, now I know why this is still garbage.
I do that anyway to some degree,
Oh.
so that's why
I
it's
like
pretty frustrating.
every kind of music.
And
Everything
you'd
you
be fine
just.
with wanting to know all that stuff, and I wouldn't.
There's
wouldn't
good
wanna know,
and
but I already
bad
know
in
too much.
every kind of music. There's good country and bad country.
Sure.
There's good rap and bad rap. There's good rock and bad rock. There's good classical
And that's
and
why
bad
this is an interesting
classical.
world, right? Everything's subjective now.
Yeah.
Objectively, though, what's talented music? I mean, I'm not gonna get
Yeah, I'm
it.
not gonna do it. So I already just kind of.
That's true.
I kind of memorize.
I place a higher premium on talent than
lyrics.
just
I look up lyrics. A lot of people
marketing
don't care.
and being black and
A lot of people don't care about lyrics. They just like the beat. And you know what? Sometimes the beat will help me remember freaking lyrics that I never wanted to listen to in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I'll go into like a store and they play that stupid song for the 15th time, and it's like, now I know the stupid song. Son of a gun! I never want to know that song.
They have that at my work. It's called Mood Media, and they play the same songs over and over. And one of the songs is literally 11 minutes long, and it's the same like beat over and over with no lyrics. And it's like 11 minutes long of the same beat over and over. And I'm just like, when I hear it, I'm just like, oh, I have to go to lunch. I gotta get out of here. But it happened. The song repeats like.
The song kicks on. I must kill.
Yeah.
It must go.
And it happens at least a couple times a day, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta get out of here. I can't.
Yeah, I can't do that.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
That
It's
reminds me of
terrible.
working at the Halloween costume store. It wasn't Spirit Halloween. This was a different one. But anyways, it was Halloween City. Same, like 5 Halloween songs. It's only about 5 actual Halloween songs on repeat, but they're terrible covers of each song.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Thriller, but it wasn't Michael Jackson. It was Born to Hand
Well, it's
Jive,
like Christmas
baby.
music when you're at the mall. I know all these songs now if I spend 20 minutes at the mall. I didn't want to know all these songs.
Yeah.
I never
Didn't.
So that could be a downfall to knowing all the
Especially
lyrics
the-
too, because when songs get ingrained in your head like that, where you suddenly want to walk around and start punching babies,
Yeah.
that's a bad thing.
$5,000, I can buy a used car with.
There's
it.
only a couple songs that make me want to do that.
Yeah, a lot of songs. That make me
And
That
they're all
one song
Lady
that's
Gaga.
11 minutes long with the beat, boom, like, oh,
That's how I feel about
Wait,
it.
here comes tempo change.
terrible.
Well, anyway.
It's terrible.
I'm
Terrible,
totally
terrible.
$5,000. I wish I had more. I wish they would give me like 10,000 or 50,000 for it, but whatever. It's
Or a million.
Or a billion. Or a gajillion.
$1 trillion.
100 billion million.
$100 million.
Yeah.
Alright, so since you enjoy fighting things,
Yeah.
this man's a warrior.
Yeah.
He fights.
Yeah.
Fights for your right to
Party.
play games and stuff. Would you
quit?
Fights for your right to be disillusioned by pay-to-play games.
This is weird, random. I don't know why they would throw this. Would you rather fight a short gladiator?
Okay. How
or-
short?
I don't know. Just a short gladiator.
Like 3 feet?
Maybe he's just short with you. Oh, come on, man. I want to have a
A
conversation.
short attention span? Hey, where'd you go?
Well, he's like a midget, but he's a gladiator.
So he's short. He's
Oh,
like
a
3
dwarf.
feet tall.
Sorry, he's a dwarf.
He's 3 feet tall.
Little person.
Or a rhino.
Oh.
Now, a rhino is not a hippo.
Sorry. I would totally take the little gladiator.
You take the little gladiator?
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
Okay. Well, the rhino would.
Watch out, those little guys with a chip on their
the-
shoulders.
straight up, so the rhino weighs between.
He's pissed off and he's a gladiator.
The rhino weighs
One
between.
word. Wolverine.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The rhino
I'm
weighs
sure you
between
wanna fight
2
with
to
three Wolverine
3,200
commandos?
pounds. 2 to 3,200 pounds.
Dodge.
And it has a huge horn. And its head alone, without the horn,
Rhinos
could
are
actually crush me.
Rhinos are nimble.
Yep,
They can
they're
win.
nimble. They can also run almost 30 miles an hour. I can't. And they can sustain that for quite a while. So he could run me down, trample me, and then gut me with the
Gore
horn,
you in the-
gore me, and kill me. So
Squish you against the
I
tree.
actually have 0 chance. And
They didn't say you
and-
have a weapon against
and-
that gladiator.
Yeah, well, and I could fight them, but even if I had weapons, their skin is so thick that I mean my knives and things like that probably wouldn't even get through the rhino's skin. And even if I injured him, they often gore each other with their own horns when they're fighting. So like, whatevs, like they don't even care. Star Wars Ironic says, "Are we going to upload this as video?" It always gets uploaded as a video, brother. So if you want the little Star Wars rant at the beginning, you'll get to go back and listen to it for sure.
We revisit that for a little bit. Heck, we might even revisit it sometime.
Yeah, and rhinos are a little bit temperamental because they are they're loners. They don't do packs well. They are very territorial, and they definitely the men rhinos definitely like to have a pack of females. And if they take you as a challenge, they would jack you up. So rhinos definitely out. I can't do a rhino. He would murder me. And
You're not challenging him for all the female rhinos, though. So
Doesn't
maybe
matter.
this is kind of
What about
I have to fight him. It says you have to fight him.
Well, you can fight him like a very bored rhino. It doesn't feel like fighting, and you
He would
spend like an
he
hour
would
doing
murder
nothing.
me.
You'd be like, "Get off me, man!" I don't care."
I'd be straight dead.
Sit
But
in
you
the
see
mud.
this little gladiator, it's short. So this gladiator knows how to fight, right? obviously knows how to fight. He's going to be in gladiator outfit. He's going to have this weapon, this shield, and all
With
of
a
that.
complex like that, you know he's going to be skilled in his craft.
Yes, so he's going to be like amazing. But if I'm going to have to fight a gladiator, they're going to put me in a gladiator arena with. I'm going to get at least like weapons and stuff.
Right.
At least there,
Maybe some armor, maybe a
at
shield.
least there, I have a fighting chance. And I'm 6 foot tall. I'm probably twice his height.
I still
So-
like seeing it beat up by a midget gladiator.
I was going to say that would
I'd rather
probably
watch
be
that over.
that would be like All Stars. They would film that, and that would be on like
There you
World
go.
Star.
You could benefit from that for sure.
In today's generation, that'd be on like
go
World
viral.
Star.
You get all kinds
Yeah.
of money for it. Yeah.
Exactly. It'd be
And
entertaining.
I'd probably
Internet
still
money.
lose. Honestly, I'd probably still lose to the short gladiator because this is his craft,
Right.
and he knows what he's doing. And his pole arm would probably go like right through my neck before
Gotta
I
give
got
it to the
close
little
enough
person
to
on
him.
that one, yeah.
And I'd be like, "Ah," and just
See, rhino or
What
hippo,
about
like
negating
Andrew's
the
saying.
fact
It's like
that-
oh man, none of those
What about
works.
negating the fact that I'm a Jedi? I wouldn't have to kill the rhino. I'd hop on its back and then force bond with it, and then I get to ride a rhino around.
Just raise him up in the air, until you can.
Nah, I wouldn't even
stab
be that
the
mean
eyeball.
about it. I'd be more passive. I'd just hop on his back and say, forgive the intrusion, but would you mind melding with me real quick? Thank you. Let's go ride that way. Huzzah!
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
at
here,
least-
Padme, jump down.
At least with the gladiator, I'd have the height advantage.
Nice
I'd have the
mid-riff.
length advantage. With my arms and stuff. I could hold his head and be like, "Hey,
Unless he
hold
has that
on."
net and that long staff. Hey-ya, net! Stab, stab.
But I could have the same long
You could.
thing, and
Or
I'd
you could
actually
just
have
like a tiny
like an
sword.
arm.
Like, why do I get your tiny sword? It's a letter opener.
I don't know. I think I'd have a better chance against a
I
gladiator.
want to draw you
I
and
agree.
a rhino.
in a gladiator.
And then Andrew is a terrible human being. He said, "Would you rather fight a rhino or a hippo?" And neither, because they would both decimate me. Hippos can bite crocodiles
They
in
kill more
half.
humans.
Can literally bite a
Wait a
crocodile in
second,
half.
though. A hippo is very territorial, very
Mhm.
aggressive,
They kill more
very
humans
violent.
than
Well,
any
it
other
kills humans,
Oh, yes.
whatever. A rhino is just a turncoat Republican.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know exactly what turns on a rhino.
Both would
to
kill
anger,
me.
but-
I wouldn't want to fight either. If I had to fight one or the other, I'd fight the rhino because a rhino is slightly smaller than a hippo, and its
Kinda.
mouth is less intrusive, and so all I'd have to do is try and not get trampled and not get totally gored
Yeah.
by its horn, and hope that I could get like something in its ear or its
Right,
behind
because
its
a
neck.
hippo on land or on water, he's
Is-
faster than you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hippo.
I'd have to take a
and
rhino
hippos have
over a
killed
hippo, but I would
more
die.
human
I would
beings than
die
any
either
other
way.
animal. But I'd really like to draw you fighting a midget or dwarf.
Yeah, I would fight
With a
that.
tiny
I don't
sword.
like either, actually. It's
Yeah.
little person.
Little person, a short gladiator.
Okay.
A
So
short
that's for
gladiator.
today. Let's go and evolve to story time. All right. What are you wearing? Okay.
I have the mustache.
That's when I went to Denver and did some CBI training with the FBI. So that's a fun hat. And yeah, I'm wearing this from a concert I went to this last summer.
Would you like a?
Yeah, we're gonna do some
Star Wars
story time, and then we'll get out of here today. So last week I told a story about when I was. It was back in the day, and I was exhausted, and I had a daughter who was screaming for weeks, and she had colic, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. And the guys in the back behind me in the house were like,
You yelled down a meth kingpin.
yeah, I yelled down a meth kingpin to shut the heck up.
Yeah.
And apparently he was like, okay, no problem. And, he could have probably killed me. But I was just like a man scorned with sleep. You can't mess with a man.
He knows where to
with sleep.
hide SA fools.
The lesson for last week was you got to be careful who you talk to, but also don't mess with a guy who hasn't gotten any sleep or a woman who hasn't gotten any sleep because they're willing to like die for sleep at that point. So
Sons of
you might
anarchy,
lose
beat your heart out.
you might lose it all. And then those guys ended up getting busted a short time later, and they literally made the front page of the Daily Sentinel, like 48 people. It was multi-state craziness. Well, where we live, no, don't put those in there.
Why not?
Pull them out because I don't
mix 'em.
Yep, I put them over there. We have a
We
totally
don't want
different.
repeat questions.
Yep, we have a totally different pile for all of the used ones. Wah, wah, wah. All
There's a
right.
pile over there for all the Burt McCrackens.
That's right.
I don't know. I thought I read one earlier that I've used already, so I must have put it in there.
So this story is similar but different. That one was a terrible story about, the company that you have nearby kind of thing, and the company that you keep. And I have another story that's totally different but kind of similar in my life, and it comes out of a job I had. I worked for, briefly, this was actually over 20 years ago, so I do believe that the statute of limitations has expired. So if I potentially self-incriminate, I can claim statute of limitations.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if I actually
Sorry,
committed
Mr.
any.
Banker, that debt is no longer valid.
Don't know if I committed any crimes or not, even to this day.
Now we'll have proof.
Yeah, I can claim that I don't actually know what I was doing other than what I was superficially told that I was doing, and I have to go off of that.
You
I
can
have
show no criminal intent.
Yes, I have plausible deniability and no criminal intent because I was doing what I was hired to do, and what I was hired to do was something that I was told, but I believe, and you'll have to hear the story and you'll have to judge for yourself, but I believe what I was hired to do was something
Judge
different, something different than what I was actually doing. So you'll have to hear the story to judge for yourself. So, yeah, over 20 years ago, I was looking for a job in sales, and I found a car dealership, and it was kind of a smaller car dealership, and they said, yeah, we'll hire you. It was actually a friend kind of that knew me, and he's like, hey, I got a friend of a friend that will hire you, and he's looking for a car salesman. And I was like, oh yeah, I can sell cars, no problem. And he said, okay, well, we got a job for you. And I said, cool. So I went to talk to, it was a family-run business. It was a husband and a wife and their son. And they had a business here in Grand Junction, and then they also had a business down in Delta, Colorado. And they had 2 car dealerships, one up here and one down there, and they had cars on each lot at each location. And they interviewed me, very informal, and said basically, you know how to sell, vehicles. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty simple, and
You seem like a BS.
yeah, and, give me a few months and I'll show you I can do it. And they were like, good. And they're like, the thing is we're not a big business, so we need somebody who can kind of multitask. We need someone who can help us with, shuffling cars to oil changes, someone who can like take cars from here to Delta, so we can change the what's on the lots, because if something's on the lot for a long time, it looks stale, the inventory. We want to be able to rotate inventory so our inventory looks fresh, both in Delta and in Junction. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So we will have you driving cars from Delta to Junction and vice versa. You'll sell cars in Delta sometimes, you'll sell cars in Junction sometimes. Sometimes you'll run money to the bank if we need a deposit done, or if we have money that we need to get to our Delta store, we'll have you run money from up here to our Delta location, because we do a lot of cash transactions for cars. And basically said you're going to be kind of a one-size-fits-all helper, because we're just a small outfit of 3 people, but we do a lot of car sales. And I was like, oh.
So you have an ever-expanding job title.
Yeah. And so I said, oh, okay, I can kind of be a part of this thing. I think it sounds legit, and as long as I can sell some cars and make some commission, I think it'll work fine. And they said, how much do you need to make? And I told them how much I needed weekly at a minimum. And they said, we'll make that your base pay. And I said, good, I need that at least. And they said, okay, now, we'll pay you commission on every car you sell. And I said, great. So base plus commission, this is going to be good. I can do this. And so I started the job. Now, this again, over 20 years ago. Well, it started out innocuous enough. It started out where I was, helping them run a car, car here or a car there, take it for an oil change. I sold a car here or sold a car there. But they, would throw up, a bag in the car and then say, hey, can you take this car down to our son in Delta? We need this car to go to Delta. We're going to rotate stock. And while you're down there, you can sell cars down in Delta. And I'd say, sure. So I drive the car down to Delta, we'd park the car on the lot, and he'd say, well, I got to do a visual inspection of the car first before we throw it on the lot. Sounded legit. He'd have it in the shop for a little bit, and I'd go in the office, drink some coffee, hang out. Customers come in, talk to them. And then, on the way home, well, I couldn't get home, right, without a car. So I'd say, well, what car do you want? And he'd say, oh, let me get you a car. So he'd pull a car into the shop, didn't know why. And then he'd, send me back home. With a car.
Really particular about their inspections.
Yeah, they were kind of particular about their inspections. But anyway, I was like, okay, no big deal. So then I would drive back home, and this was only about 30 minutes away, these towns. And I would drive back home, and I'd park it on the lot, and they were like, oh, just drive it around back. We'll reorganize the lot how we want to reorganize the lot. And I was like, kind of control freak, but whatever. You guys can organize the lot however you want. So I'd pull it into their garage and park it, and then they could reorganize the lot how they want. And this went on for about 2 months, and I didn't mind them. They were a nice couple. But over the 2 months, there's 2 things. One, I didn't get a whole lot of time to sell because their lots were both kind of oddly slow. we didn't sell a whole lot, and I didn't know how they were staying open without selling cars.
Right.
So I was like, this is weird. Like, yeah, we didn't sell a whole lot of cars. I was like, like, how do you make money here if you don't sell cars? So I was like, oh, we're not selling a whole lot of cars, and so I thought I was going to make commission. We got to sell cars, but we got to have customers to sell cars, and we weren't really having a whole lot of customers. I thought maybe it's just a slow month, so that's why I stayed a second month. But the second thing that kind of got my tinglies up on the back of my neck was I drove down to Delta a whole lot, like not like some weeks every day, and so I was driving back and forth.
The same cars come back to lot 3 times.
And we were rotating stock a lot, and I was like, we want the lots to be fresh, but we don't need the same car to come back within the same week. Like, let's leave it down there for a month and let it have its chance to sell.
Well, you were thinking.
So there's this thing, right? There's this thing, right? Intuition. You should pay attention to your intuition. And intuition started to tell me in month two that one, I'm not going to make any money here. There's just not enough business to be had, and something ain't right. Something just isn't right.
Spider sense is tingling.
Yeah, spider sense is tingling, and so kind of the lesson here is listen to your spider senses. Your
listen
tingling
to that inner
senses.
voice. It's your conscience.
Yeah, your inner voice. Something was talking to me. Whatever you want to call it. And it was like, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be involved with his family. Something's not right. You should probably just bow out of what's going on. And I started to question the son about what was in the bag, because they kept giving me bags to take down there and stuff. They throw it in the trunk or whatever and say like, oh, we're refilling his inventory, but we're also giving him some stock and some tools or some this or that. And there was always something that they had to give him. And then he would always throw something back, and he's like, I went to Walmart down here and I got them some stuff. So take some of these boxes of stuff.
But don't look at it.
Well, but it was like, well, we have a Walmart up there. Why did you need to go shop for your mom and dad? So anye, long story short, I was young. This was over 20 years ago, and so I was young and dumb. But within a month and a half, I realized something's not right. And so by the end of month 2, I realized I'm not making any money. Something's not right. I listened to my gut and I quit. I just told them, hey, I got to give you a 2 weeks notice. And I told them my reasoning was I couldn't make enough money there to support my family. They said, well, we gave you what you asked for. I said, as a base, but I needed commission, and I don't find with driving back and forth that I'm given enough time on a lot to actually build a clientele base. And I'm in Delta, but then I'm in Junction, and I got to build a clientele base at one location or the other. And Emperor Gubatine says, come to find out Warrior worked for the mob. So I did say that I don't know what I was doing, and I still to this day don't know what I was doing. But hold on, there is an end to the story, because the end might tell you what was happening. But I don't know. I have plausible deniability because I never looked in anything.
Ignorance.
I just quit. Well, a short time after I quit, we'll just say a few months later, the son, the mom, and the dad were all arrested for selling drugs and money laundering and a big old trafficking drugs and a bunch of money laundering schemes, and and so Ray Rock was a drug mule. So that's the possibility that might have possibly occurred, maybe for a month or two. But
2 months and then quitting because of suspicions does not show criminal intent.
So, but anyway, long story short, I don't know what I was doing. I thought I was moving vehicle inventory, from one car dealership to another and parking them, and my spider tingly senses said this isn't right, and I quit. And then
Something's a little off.
Yep. And then 6 months to a year later ish, I can't remember whether it was 6 months or 8 months or 10 months later, basically I saw in the paper again. I was like, oh, they're in the paper, what's going on? And I looked, and it was mom and dad and son, and they had all been arrested, and it was a huge drug traffic thing. Right. So basically, they got busted, and they were a part of a kind of a bigger scheme thing. They had people sending stuff in from Mexico. It was coming in. It was landing to them, and then they were doing a redistribution, and they had it. They were a hub, and it was going down to Delta, and their son was running the Delta section, and it was then being redistributed down south. And I was ignorant to the whole thing. I was completely ignorant to the whole thing. I had no idea. I quit having no idea. To this day, I still don't know if anything in the car was any of that.
It could be legal
honestly, it could have been nothing. They could have not used me. I don't know, but I can guess that there was a possibility that maybe they put things in the trunk or whatever, those cars that I was inventory moving, that possibly did that. So the moral of this story, I'm a super open guy. I share my life. I splay this open for all to see. The moral of the story is that you should pay very close attention to your surroundings. You should definitely, when you're working, pay really close attention to what's going on. And if you have that sense about you that something isn't right, you should pay attention to it. And not just about your employer, but if you're like, someone's coming in and you're like, something's not right with this person, you should be paying attention to that person. You should always, always, always not ignore that little voice inside of your head that says something's not right, because that could very well save your life or could keep you out of Leavenworth for 20 years or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I was, this was just before, I would have never gotten married. I would have never had kids. Like this could have been a super terrible situation. And to come to find out, they got raided. The DEA, the FBI, all of them were involved. And my guess is
checking you guys out.
Well, and my guess is they were probably eyes on. My guess is, because I've been law enforcement now, post this, my guess is they were watching and knew everything and probably saw me get hired and saw what I was doing and then saw me quit and realized like, hey, this poor sap either didn't know or realized what was going on and quit and got himself out of it, so good for him, and they never involved me or whatever. But
and that's the perfect clause for them too. They want to bring in somebody that doesn't know because they're not going to ask questions, and then if they did get caught, it'd be I wouldn't know. Most of the time, people who are drug running that don't know about it usually get away with it more often than the guys that do know.
Emperor Gubatine says, moral of the story, look in the bag.
Yeah.
You can't look in the bag that has a lock on it. By the way, that was a red flag for me too. I was like,
it's a very large deposit bag.
But listen, if you're selling cars, I did have other car dealers I'd worked for, and I'd done runs to the bank, and like they have lock bags, and the banks would do deposits of thousands and thousands of dollars. My business right now, today, like just Monday, or not Monday, but Tuesday morning, so yesterday morning, I ran 12 grand to the bank, like no big deal, because it's just one of those things.
Every man
and I had a lock bag.
Always had a deposit, all that cash.
I had a lock bag and I ran it to the bank, and it's a legitimate transaction of 12 grand because I, sold that much.
But you had to drive it all the way down to Delta.
Right. Well, that's my point, though. Is like when you're young. I was like, I'm like 20 years old, and I don't know what's going on.
Doing my job.
You're a man, 18.
Somebody you're working for tells you, hey, this is a transactional thing. We sell cars cash, and we need to have money to do cash transactions. This is for our safe. You just assume they're goodwill people, and they're telling the truth. You don't assume they're liars and they're doing terrible things. And so, what's up, Revenator? How's it going, brother?
Well, and good on you for noticing after 2 months. I'm sure it's plenty.
I started noticing after a month, and then I started putting two and two together.
Oh, okay, I think I know what's going on here, but I'm never going to ask questions, so I can just remain ignorant and not even think about it. Or
they're like, cut me in.
Yeah, or they'll eventually want you to cut them in. Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, I'm out of here, man.
Neither. Get the heck out.
So
always
anyway, interesting.
Awareness.
I think the world out there that's listening is probably like, man, they got a drug problem in Grand Junction. And we actually do. We always have.
Yeah.
We are on
better, but still a drug problem.
Not really. We are on I-70, which is the Interstate 70. So for the United States of America, this interstate goes all the way from almost from the west to all the way through Illinois. So it goes almost through the entire United States, and it goes laterally. And it is like the number one, spot to run drugs from. You can take I-15 all the way from basically Mexico to I-70, and then take I-70 all the way from Utah all the way to Chicago, Illinois. And so it's a huge drug trafficking thing. Now we're off of I-70, and so of course there's a bunch of distribution off of I-70.
We're one of the main towns before you leave Colorado and before you get in a desolation area of Utah.
Yep.
So yeah, this is a stopping point for a lot of them. It's kind of a
should ask for a raise.
No way, I wanted out of there. I didn't know what was going on.
Unfortunately,
I knew that it wasn't right, and I didn't want to be a part of it. And I'm a man of honor. I didn't want to be a part of anything that wasn't honorable, and I just had that gut feeling something wasn't right, and I trusted my gut, and thank goodness I trusted it, because like I said, less than a year later, they all got busted, they all went down, and I was like, oh my goodness, my gut feeling was right, and I was so glad that I paid attention to my gut. So, well, ArtisianK, thank you for coming on SureShot.
Oh man, dang.
Bones and handshake.
Well, you know,
Bam!
I'm thinking there could be a really good opportunity.
I don't want to get coronavirus from either one of you, but I guess I'm going to get it from both of you now.
Could be a really good opportunity for a drawing after one of these.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drawing, that would be fun.
Just
A
saying.
rhino.
Just no, not the rhino. You wanted to fight that short gladiator.
So you're going to draw me fighting a short gladiator?
It could be.
Oh, that'd be a fun drawing. I'd be interested to see that sketch.
Have him like a net.
Yeah. I want to see that. I
He's
think
all in the
everyone-
air with like a staff.
Everyone watching now wants to see that drawing. I am sure of it. If you don't know, ArtisianK is an artisan. He's an artist. He's amazing. His artwork is absolutely insane. That's definitely something you want to expand on your YouTube channel as you guys start to get that platform kind of up and going. Is to expand.
Almost did a video last night.
Almost did a video last night. Wow. And then, of course, SureShot, thanks as always for coming on. I think we are planning on possibly doing a stream. I know you're probably going to possibly soon be going back to work.
Yeah.
And there's a possibility that it comes down to just back to you and I for a little bit. When that happens, one of the weeks that does happen, we'll probably hop on and just socialize while you play Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.
Yes.
So one of those weeks.
You can see what a true fading account looks like.
Yeah, but I mean, you're still having fun-ish with it, so
Yeah.
So we'll
I still put
we'll
more
do
time
that.
in than is rightfully necessary.
So Star Wars isn't completely gone. I mean, you still
No.
play Galaxy
You're
Heroes.
still doing
and so,
TV shows.
Yep. And so we're going to still do that. We'll probably still talk about those things, and then I'm going to be eventually fixing the audio on this. The last thing we bought.
We'll get it eventually.
Yep, the last thing I bought, it was like, $1,000 fix and did not work. Huge issues with all of that, so I sent it all back, and we're trying again. And then
I love Amazon for so many things, but when it comes to microphones and lapel mics especially, they're not cutting it.
Yeah.
Nothing up to par there.
I've got some Focusrite stuff coming in. My original Focusrite stuff worked amazing, so this should take us to the next
bring
level.
that same quality in with multiple microphones.
I'm also thinking about going possibly to some podcast microphones for us in studio, possibly. Thoughts? Leave them in the comments down below. Would you like us to go to podcast microphones for each of us, or go lapels and then just high-end quality lapels? The lapels up to this point have been trash, so we're still trying on lapels to find the right lapel that will work. Or would you rather us have our own mics in front of us?
Or
that we
sign
speak
language
into?
the entire.
Or sign language the entire time, and you just guess what we're saying.
You can practice that. A lot of finger spelling going on.
Read down here below.
Yeah. It's like nothing, it's just blank.
Or we can play some old timey like piano music while we're talking to each other.
Yeah. We have a signing interpreter just standing the whole time going.
Yeah.
There's somebody sitting there typing for us. He just said this. He just said that. He just said this. All right.
But anyway, SureShot, ArtisianK, thanks for coming on. You
Always.
guys outside, make sure you guys have a wonderful day. As always, Warrior out.